Checking your physique, I don't think I could want you anymore. Chilling with your girl, I'm jealous that I can't just run over and take you on the floor. And I don't wanna cross nobody, I know it's never worth the pain, but I can feel your eyes run down me, and all my sense just floats away.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. Another episode of Building Muster Minutes live on stream. We're continuing working on the transcript editor. That's what we've been working the last couple of days. I had to take a day off yesterday. Wasn't feeling too well, but I'm back now. So we're going to keep working on this transcript editor that we've been building. We are using ProseMirror, a library for building kind of rich text editor experiences. Before that, we're using TipTap, and we're kind of seeing if we can get rid of TipTap. We're going to keep working on that today. And I think we're just going to get stuck in, you know, like there's no point dilly-dallying around. What have we got right now? We've got this little editor on our page. It just says, hello, beautiful world. The perfect starting point for any kind of project. You may have noticed I've changed my background. We've got some leafy greens going on in the background on the wallpaper on my computer. Not in my background. My background has a couple of small little plants, but they're not in view. But the background on the wallpaper. And yeah, we're going to jump into here. We've got our dummy document here, which has all of our content, which has the words hello, beautiful world. We have our marks, which define kind of when this word was spoken and stopped speaking. We have our schema that kind of organizes a bunch of that stuff for us. We have our input rules plugin. We did a little bit tidying up at the end of the last session, tidying up some of the stuff. Added a couple of to-dos. We've got a couple of little notes here for ourselves. Override backspace to join word marks when deleting a space. That's an issue we have at the moment where these words, when I kind of close them together, I think actually if we inspect element, we can probably see that what's going on there. I might even, just for simplicity's sake, and just hiding a lot of this chaos that's going on behind, render this separately. Can I go like /edit? No. Okay, never mind. We'll come back to that. But we don't really need it anyway. I suppose we can do this. I just don't like how it pushes it down so far. Oh well. Let's see. Okay. If we type in here and delete this space, you'll see here we still have these two separate, they're not combined. They need to be combined at this point. Do they need to be combined? They probably do, you know? So that's something we need to do. Need to think about. Merging. Equally, I guess, splitting as well, like potentially. How we split those. But split is interesting, you know, because like our input rules here, this does word marking rules. Is kind of doing that job. We have our word marker, which has our word marking rules. This does have kind of create, you know. So maybe there's some stuff we can do here as well when we add the space. But for now, well, that's interesting. We already have a weird bug. Is this? If I delete there, yeah, what is going on there? We haven't even overridden anything yet, and that's already a little bit weird. Our input rules plugin, which actually is like tip tap helpers. No, where's our input rules coming from? ProseMirror helpers. In here, the only thing we have is this. Handle text input. You know, so if we were in here and did delete there, that does seem to call it actually. Handle text input does get called on backspace, but not here. Not when you delete a space, but if you delete the L, that does. What? Handle text input. Okay. 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 So. Handle text input. We're looking at ProseMirror. We need to dump back into the docs a little bit and see what's going on. Go documentation, reference manual, handle text input. Whenever the user directly inputs text, this handler is called before the input is applied. If it returns true, the behavior of actually inserting the text is suppressed. Okay. But we're not inserting text, we are pressing delete at the end of a line. Right there is fine, but right there. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. Why does that happen? You know what, I am going to create a view. Let's go. Not there. Let's why is the sort weird? Why is the sort reversed? I don't know. We're just gonna pretend like that wasn't a thing. Pages controller.rb class. Hit. Put it there. Transcript. Demo. We'll call that as the page URL. And then obviously we need to go to views. Create a new thing called pages. So it's in the pages. And then we'll call it transcript demo.html.erb. And in here we will have, let's just have a h1 that said hello for now, and then we can just check that that URL works. So we've got transcript demo. Transcript demo. Transcript demo. Action encoding template. Did I miss something? .html.erb? ProseMirror.erb. So I made a pages controller. You know what I forgot? There we go. Hello. Cool. Sweet. Fine. And then we can effectively forget about that and go transcript demo. Do a div p XL. Who XL, you know? We'll get lots of space. And then inside here we'll have transcript editor. And inside of that we'll have a, well, what will we have? What will we have, I say? Well, we'll probably need data controller set to transcript editor. Is that correct? You know, like that. Transcript editor, and then I just need a div data transcript editor target set to tip tap. Div data transcript editor target equals tip tap. I'm actually going to change this, you know, I'm going to change that to view. You know, this is the view of the transcript editor target. Transcript form. I'm going to change it down here as well. 24J as tip tap becomes view. J. There we go, so it's view target now, and I think that makes more sense. We're not using the others right now, right? We'll just have the view, because the rest is just not there. Have a refresh. Hello, beautiful world is there. I wonder. Transcript demo. I just add some sort of class, which is just p large border rounded, just to highlight it on the page. I hate how many like properties you actually have to border porcelain 200 rounded. Like, you actually have to do a lot to get that on there. What's going on with this input, like this outlineable area? Is this div that's content editable? I'll deal with it later, but for now let's just add a style tag to the page. It's just like dot ProseMirror outline 0. Okay, and then we'll just maybe do border 2, just to space it out a bit, make it look clearer, and then we'll add MT4. Yeah, no, not 4 because we've changed it. It's large. Okay, this is going to be our transcript editor. We're going to take the data from the first transcript of like we'll find a specific transcript to deal with. It's really minor, but I'm just going to go large on there. Okay. This... Cool. Nice. And then we'll just ignore the stuff at the top, you know, like that's there, that's all okay. Then we'll go like this. So now we've just really focused in on the editor itself, which means I can just look at the console logs and I'm not distracted by all the stuff around it. And we can also kind of zoom in a little bit as well, which will be good. So if I refresh, what have we got going on in our harpoon? Well, we've got our document, which is here. We have our schema. And then we have our actual view down here. So, I want to be able to tap into, like, when we do backspace, right? Like the backspace, we need to override it for our own behavior. ProseMirror commands. Base. Backspace. Oh, like mod backspace. Command delete. So we have the PC base map and the Mac key map as well, and then depending on which one we get either the Mac or the base key map. So we have to think about this as well in our code. But ultimately, we're going to want to deal with backspace. Backspace is this like chain commands here. Also, like, how are these any different? Oh, this one does one's delete and one's backspace, right? So we've got backspace, but we've also got delete. And then this creates a chain command. Chain commands. It doesn't look like chain commands is going to allow us to chain commands. So we would have to kind of take these again. So I guess we're gonna put this into a plugin. We're gonna put this over here. Not really a plugin, but we're gonna create an export const. Export function. Yeah. So actually what's interesting is this like chain command. All it's really doing is returning a function that then calls the other commands, right? So actually I could chain commands. So I should be able to take a key map and then do like patch key map. So we're gonna patch a bunch of commands, right? We're gonna have our own command. If it returns true, then return true. Otherwise, we're gonna keep looping through. Fine. Well, we don't really need to loop through, so we could just take and return the key map. But we're also going to say in our key map, there are certain commands like backspace. Let's just do backspace to start with. And we'll refactor this because we're going to have to make some changes, right? But well, maybe we should just do it, right? Like maybe we import chain commands from ProseMirror commands, right? And then in here we're going to say const backspace chain commands and then we just pass in some commands, right? We're going to need our command as well. So we have to create our own command, which I think, like, if we just look for, what did they delete selection? Like, it is just a function that takes the thing. So we're going to have our command up here, which is going to be const merge word marks. Returns false for now. We're not actually gonna do it, but like we're gonna, you know, if selection's empty, returns full. Similar here, you know, with backspace. We need to like to do assert whether we are merging well, like, yeah, I guess there is one already in here, right? The one that's probably more interesting is like this join backwards. This one. I guess we're going to end up with something like that. Or backwards, you know. In our case, it's backward. Join, word marks backward, key map backspace. But there might not be a key map in backspace, so I mean, in our case there is, but key map backspace if there is. Otherwise, join word backwards. Identifier expected. What kind of identifier? Apart from the fact we're missing a dot. Take the original key map, and then backspace becomes kind of a merge of those if it exists. I wonder if there's a nicer way of writing that, you know? Like, let's just... Could I write this more succinctly in JS? No, that's not. Shift V. There we go. I'm not sure logical or what are you going to say? Could work, maybe. I mean, the other option as well here is maybe just write a little tiny abstraction, which is just gonna make this look a little bit cleaner, which is kind of like try command, and then it takes a command and returns command or a function that returns false. That's really weirdly written. You pass in the command and then it'll either return that command or it'll return a function. Chain commands, drawing word marks backwards, try command, keymap, backspace. Yeah, kinda, not sure. It takes commands, and it returns a function that then calls the commands and says if they return true, it would. Otherwise, it'll eventually return false. And here what we're saying is, okay, well, we're going to take in potentially a command, potentially an empty. And this is going to be another chain of commands. But we don't really know about that. We just say, okay, we're going to take the existing command it's also If you have a range selection, we should also try to just delete that. But that also might need to join word marks. That might also be because you delete the selection. Oh, this is a weird. Because I might select this range, right? And delete. And that should then cause the words hello and world to like mash. And then if we look in here, delete selection, join backwards, select node backwards. If the selection is empty and at the start of a text block, try to reduce the distance between that block and the one before it. If there's a block directly before it that can be joined, join them. If not, try to move the selected block closer to the next one in the document structure by lifting it out of its parent or moving it into the parent of the previous block. We use the view for an accurate video where start of text block detection if given. I mean, this is also a little bit weird, right? Because it's not always... It might already have the word mark. I guess we can try and patch this in. So apply. No, what is the thing called? Not there. Patch key map. Patch key map. Patch key map. For word marking. I actually wonder whether it's a patch or actually it's probably just like word marking key map. I think now the more that I look at it, I'm actually like, oh, it's probably just word marking key map. You know? Word marking key map. And then it's probably more just like export const word marking key map is backspace join words backwards. It's actually got chain commands. I mean, base key map, sure, right? Like we can kind of build the same behavior there without all of this. We know that now. That's what we're getting. And I guess that's a bit closer now to the end of the file where we have just kind of backspace on these. So that's cleaner. We're in here, we can backspace. But now we have access in here to console.log. Or we should have, you know. Apply word mark and key map. Oh, we need to apply it down here. Dot 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 word mark and key map. So this will override the ones before it. Join word mark backwards, but it still works. Same as if I did this. Still works. I do wonder if there's like a, I mean, we have a handle text input, right? Is there a handle delete? Apply input roles. Pause. No ProseMirror helpers. Apply input rules. Handle text input. It's so interesting how this gets called at certain points. So like if I delete here, I'm still confused at like what's going on there. I mean, I guess, I mean, even then, like the, it's just very confusing. Add mark. I think it would be good to just maybe not console log this anymore, or at least we don't need the null and the 2 on it. If we do, see, there we go. We got rules add mark. And I imagine if I comment that out, nothing happens here. Oh, interesting. So there's something weird in here then? Oh, because we're inserting the text and then scrolling in the view. Interesting. I wonder, actually, you know, this backspace, join, delete selection, to join forward. To join forward. Select node forward. I can, on here, import those, and then it's basically the same thing, but now I have control over where my join word mark backward gets inserted. I'm also wondering, like, what do these things do? Like what does select node backward do? When the selection is empty and at the start of a text block, select the node before that text block if possible. Debugger. Let's see, can I go in here and delete? So what do we have? We have, we're in the debugger. Well, I don't really spend too much time using debuggers, and I have a vague idea of how the step thing works, but like over and into sometimes confuses me. I just don't do it enough. Fine, so we're in here. Now we're in delete selection. I don't need to be here. Come back out. I don't think I need to be there. What have we got so far? I guess we're going through the loop again. So we know that we haven't returned true yet. So now we're going into join backwards. We come back out. We weren't in join backwards. Select node backward. I find this one is probably going to be interesting. Are we empty? If we're not empty, true. We're not. So it's not going to return false, which means we are going to continue into this. It is a text block. If the end of the text okay, we're on return false, so we're saying this doesn't count. Oh no, we're still here, so we didn't return false here. when the selection is empty and at the start, the text block. Oh no, we've come back out. And now we're returning false. The chain commands didn't have anything they could do. The default stuff, again, didn't have anything it could do. And so we are checking any modification mods to the keys. Fine, that's bizarre, you know. What if we just disable these two modifications I've made? We have a really basic default schema now, and I go in here. So it works there. And when I add the key map, I mean the key map's not doing anything right now, right? The key map is just hanging out. That's all fine. Look, there's something within our input rules plugin that I've written that causes that to happen. That's fine. We can narrow it down from there. So we have a plugin. We get some information. It's got to be this, right? Like this line here. Like, why are we inserting the text and then scrolling it into the view? Like, what's the deal with that? But now we're not doing anything, right? Well, for whatever reason, like, whatever reason, like, I mean, I see why this is here, because we return true every time. We will always handle text input because we always return true. So obviously, oh, we have to get rid of the debugger. But if we were, you know, in here and delete, we always mark that as handled. If handle text input gets called. It's weird that handle text input gets called. We can't add anything because we always return true. I was kind of wondering if that would allow us to override what's already there, but you know, didn't seem like it makes any difference. I guess we could try return false. We could also console.log. So we can backspace, fine. What are we actually doing here? So the reason it matches, we get text before, but I mean, what is text before? But the whole purpose of that is so that hello. I mean, I need to put this back in, right? For the rest of it to work, but oh, text before is like all of the text before. And then our rules are just matching the end, whatever was last in that text, and then applying those marks as they need to be applied. So it's not the adding of this to that range. Also, the range, the to and the from. See, the text here is like TS. It's a bit strange. Why do we sometimes get I just not that return false? That's the default behavior, but we do get all of that text. Whereas normally, we're not calling handle text input, but if we call it on the end of a word, we have to handle the text input. The end of a mark is really what's unique there. I mean, the spaces are whatever, right? I'm gonna be right back. I'll be back in a moment.
Fell in deep again. I always knew that it would come back for me. Can I just pretend that I'm not losing control?
Back. We're back, and what was we doing? We were trying to work out why, when we delete the end of a mark, we get handle text input. What is this? I'm gonna try it. I don't like. If I put a debugger here, what I'd like to know now is perhaps the call stack. Like, how did we get to here? Read DOM change. Okay, fine. So that's one way, right? But when I do a D on the end, it also gets called. But it also comes from read DOM change. Both positions in the same text node simply insert text. Fine. That's the comment above there. But then when we was here and we do delete, and we check both positions in the same text node, simply insert text. This is so interesting because actually it says the text that's being inserted is the whole beautif. You know? I think what's happening is we are manipulating the DOM with content editable. ProseMirror. I don't even like. Is this the view? I suppose this is the view, right? Because we're interacting with the view, and it's the handle input rules. Handle input, not input. Handle text input. Called when deleting end of mark. Like. I don't know if ChatGPT is going to have much here. I'm writing some JS code for using the ProseMirror library. When I delete the last character from the end of a mark, it pulls handle text input with the entire contents of that mark. What's going on? I mean, that's the other thing, is like, is it the marks? Can I go into here and type text. This is a whole sentence. No. If I refresh over here, if I go to the WE, like, obviously that then triggers it. Here, no, fine. But as soon as I am at the end of a mark, we get the entire content of the mark. It's so bizarre. Like, what? Oh, that's interesting. It's not the end. It's not about it being the end of a mark. It's about the end of it being the text. Do I get the same? here. No, not there. We got the same there. No. But that... Because there are no marks there, right? I think... But if I had the full stop there, it's the same. So it's the end of a text node. There's a weird issue at the end of the text node. And delete the last character from the end in a text node where there are other characters. The handle text input gets called with all the text from that node. Seems a bit like a bug. You know what's going on? What's happening? Also, I forget, like, I was going to zoom in on the old screen so chat can see it. Whenever the user directly input text, the handle is called before the input is applied. If it returns true, the behavior of actually inserting the text is suppressed. Can I maybe just look for like handle text input? I just want to see all of the issues. There are no issues, absolutely zero issues. So what is this part of? This is part of a big function. Like the big function. Where does it start? Read DOM change. Okay. And at the very end of it, it says, hey, what's going on? Adding or removing a mark. Deletion. .11 sometimes weirdly moves the DOM selection around after back-spacing out the first element in the text. I mean, what's weird about this is like when you look in here, I suppose to the browser these are separate text nodes. But that would be okay. That would be fine. We are going to have an ad in about 40 seconds, give or take. I have them on automatic schedule just to avoid pre-rolls for people who are joining. And it also gives me a chance to go grab a break and quickly go grab a drink, which I might do in this break actually, because I am out of water right now. So I might do that. And then I'll be back, and then we're going to keep trying to figure out what is going on with this. No, it's ProseMirror stuff. yeah, we're just gonna have to figure it out. I don't know how, but it's confusing. It's confusing. Like, what is this about? What is this about? It doesn't do it when it's just the one. But hey, I will be back in a moment. Bye. Back on. Back to work. Back to work. Okay, let's see. What do we... Ugh. So, I was thinking a little bit about this while I grabbed my water. Fine, it sends us data, right, that we don't need to care about. So, like, what can we do about this? We get this handle text input, and we wanted to do this stuff. One of the things I want to check as well is, like, what about the old editor, you know? The one that's currently using TipTap. Is this an issue that TipTap had to work around, you know? Like, some of those kind of questions are in there. I'm like, well, what did TipTap do? So, I mean, if we just inspect this, you can actually see I've got a slightly different approach here. What did I do here? Because the spaces just kind of disappear. The spaces aren't rendered here, which is a really big key difference. When you look at this version and you look, inspect, and you see what's in, oh no, hello beautiful world, and then this is a string, right? These are marked up. I suppose when I refresh, I've been changing it so this one isn't marked up now. I don't know. They are the spaces. The spaces are not marked up. Fine, so there's no difference there. What we'll search for is TipTap input rule plugin, because that is something that they have, you know. What have we got going on here? ProseMirror rules not. Okay, so they have input rules. There is an input rule thing. We've been doing our own thing. Maybe we didn't need to. Okay, let's switch up. Let's use their thing, because what we have at the moment is like some bastardized version of TipTap's version. So we'll maybe not comment it. Comment that out, and then we'll actually gem file, not gem file, import map. .rb input. No, so we need to add it to our import map. So rail a bin / import map pin. Then what are we pinning? ProseMirror input rules. Is that just npm.js.ProseMirror input rules? Yes, it is. That's pinned. That's downloaded all of that ProseMirror code. It's also downloaded the other ProseMirror things. I'm happy with that. That's fine by me. We're then going to import input rules. And we will say input rules, word marking rules. We'll come back to that in a second. This module defines a plugin for attaching input rules to an editor which can react or transform text typed by the user, and apparently also deletions. Okay, so our input rule has to be new input rule. That takes these things. Is that correct? And there's a set of input rules that come with it. I think let's close a few things and just see where we're at. Bunch of default rules that can be enabled with plugin. Module comes with a bunch of predefined. Fine. Yeah, that's what they look like. We might have to just import this. And then do we just return an array of them? Yeah. Export const word marking rules. Import input rule from ProseMirror input rules. Looks something like that. And then we can name them, I suppose, with comment. Ensure words are marked correctly. Ensure white space is not marked. Something like that. index.js. Input rule, input rules, undo input rule. Let's go back to here, input rules. So this returns a transaction. So the handler is a string or a function which takes state, match, start, and end. And also can take some options. And options is undoable. When set to false, undo input rule doesn't work on this. In code, by default input rules will not apply inside nodes marked as code. Fine. What's undo input? A command that will undo an input rule. If applying such a rule is the last thing these did. Right. And so we get state match, start and end. Okay, what does this, where does this leave us? You know, we backspace here. And we still match. And the idea here is that THI will match, right? It's just a bit weird that when you delete here, what if I delete here, right? Join word marks backward doesn't do anything. I suppose actually we could just backspace. Fine, but like, let's go back to here. We can delete this sentence thing we've added now. And we have marked up everything else correctly. Everything else is marked up correctly. We're still here. So create an input rule. The rule applies when the user typed something and the text directly in front of the cursor matches the match, which should end with $. Simple. The handler can be a string, in which case the matched text or the first matched group in the regex is replaced by that string. So you can basically say match this, replace the match string. Or it can be a function that does some stuff and it can return a transaction that describes the rule effect or null to indicate the input was not handled. Fine, so we need to return a transaction, right? So I guess we would normally do state.tr.addMark. And then there's a start and an end. And then state.skip schema.marks.word.create. That would be the default behavior. But we still need to insert the text that was literally just in, right? So when we do this, it's a delete, but when we do space, sure, we're removing the mark, but like, what was the... What was the thing that was just put in, right? And this was one of the reasons I ended up building the, like, kind of pulling in and copying the input rules plugin from TipTap, because I still need to insert that text. Just because I'm doing this, I'm not replacing it. That's kind of not what the input rules are designed for. Because their default behavior oh, interesting. The way that the input rules plugin works, it takes in the rules. When it inits, it has a null thing in its state. But then it has the state apply, and it gets the meta. What's the meta? So it will run when the handle text input or composition end of the DOM event. If there's a cursor, there's a text selection. And then down here, I'm kind of curious about this, but it only does it if it's undoable, so. Yeah, I see why they have the state now. The state is null, but then if you have a input rule that could be undone, then this will give you the transaction or whatever it was to undo it. There's the rule handler. If there's no transaction, continue, as in it will skip the for loop, moving on to the next rule until it's done all of the rules, and eventually it will return false. If it doesn't return false, then it does that. Now, text before, the text up here, this string, so we get state, we get match, but match just gets text before, it doesn't get text, which is annoying because I need the text. It needs the text because I need to make sure the text gets inserted. I could probably work out what text has changed though. Right, because I can get... I just do it up here first. Do like current text. And then I guess the match is giving me an array, right? So like in here, you diff like either of those. Regex match. What does that return? I never really remember. What are we calling? We're calling it calls is like string.match.exec. I guess, yeah, it will be something like that, won't it? What does it return? That's what I want to know. Index. Input the zero-based index. No, what's going on here? Like, what am I actually getting? That's commands. We don't want commands. I'm going to close that tab. Rule.match.exec. And rule comes from the rules. Rules is our rules. That's this. I guess it's kind of this. I imagine the outputs are the same. An array whose contents depend on the presence of the global flag or null if no matches are found. What's the array? What's in the array? The matches. I guess, yeah, it's all of the matches, right? There's two. Gonna call on our friend, phone a friend, ChatGPT. JS regex match.exec returns some sort of array. Can you tell me what the 0 and 1 positions are? Why are they the same value? How are they different? Ugh. Error in moderation. Excuse me? Afternoon. How's it going, legend? Hope you're having a good day. I don't know what this error is that I'm getting here. I'm gonna probably have to log out and log back in or something. I'm good, just off the spin bike and getting work finished. How's the project? Yeah, the project's good. Still just trying to figure out some of these details with the... Is that working now? Can we bring this back? Yeah, I'm trying to rebuild the transcription editor, so I'm digging into ProseMirror like I've been doing for the last few days. I guess we're not relying on ChatGPT for that right now, you know? We can maybe try open a new chat. I don't know if it's going to solve it. Hello? Yeah, I'm just working through some of these weird modules and figuring it out. ChatGPT is not figuring it out. I couldn't really recall why match returns 2 and like an array of length 2. There are 2 spaces in there, but on this one, UTIF is 1, so I don't know, a bit weird. But what I wanted to do text is match text 0, and then do something where we kind of compare those 2. At the moment I'm having a weird bug where if I delete here, it calls add mark when really it shouldn't. Because all we're doing is removing character. And so I'm trying to rebuild these rules that apply the word markings appropriately. And so I'm trying to work out what changed and what needs to be so we are now going to get inserted text is the matched text. Strange, yeah, it's weird. Now I'm trying to work out like what is it that I'm actually inserting. I get current text, which is beautiful. I need a new laptop, but I really can't be bothered spending a small fortune on a MacBook. Yeah, I know that feeling. MacBooks are expensive. They're worth it, but they're expensive. And the new, I don't know what laptop you've got at the moment, but if you're upgrading from like an Intel-based MacBook to or thinking of upgrading from an Intel-based MacBook to like an M1 or an M2 or an M3, it's definitely worth it. I mean, I run all of this just off a 14-inch MacBook M1 Pro, and it is absolutely fine. And I'm doing streams to both Twitch and YouTube. Various Chrome browser, well, it's Brave, but browser windows open. My old MacBook would have never coped. Work laptop as a 16 MacBook Pro. Love it. Yeah, I think if I was to not use a Mac, I don't know. I don't think I could do development work on Windows. But I want one for myself, but price. Crazy. Yeah. So in this case, match text is that it can't replace it. Well, I guess we could do something here where we just say if the matched text length is less than the current text length, is that right? Need to check. By what am I actually getting here? So when I delete this, I'm trying to select. I'm getting the current text from the document for that range. But the match is giving me less because in the match it's happened after I've deleted, but the delete actually hasn't applied to the state yet, so I get something that looks slightly different. But like when I add some text to this same range and add an L, I get the current text being less because the match applies before the text has been inserted. Yeah, I guess. And then, so if the kind of current text dot length is more than the matched text length, then we probably deleted. Some text, and therefore we return null. Was that correct? Yeah. So we're just bailing out, but like otherwise we do want to do the thing, which means we then need to and add the mark and then like dot insert text. Not inserted. What is the inserted text? The remove mark doesn't work yet because we also need to add whatever text back in. Okay. Sure. That was crazy. All of this because they don't pass us the text in the input rules. They get the text here, and arguably actually they get the text here, but it still has this weird situation where you end up with a big block of text when you delete, as if you're inserting text but you're actually deleting text. Like, I don't know what's up with that, but either way, I managed to save it because what happens is I can look at what's currently in the state for that range, and I can look at what I have matched, and I can look at the difference between those two things and then work out what text I'm trying to either add, or if suddenly it's reduced in length, then what text I'm trying to remove. It works. I mean, I think it works. What might be good actually for this little editor is having some sort of output. So perhaps I could do a output target and then have some sort of free data transcript editor target be output. And then not over there. One of the things that I could do here not only could I console log, I could actually store const equals JSON.bringify that content, and then I could just do this to output inner text is output, but then I could also do the null and 2 so I could get formatted correctly so that when I type in here I get something that looks slightly nicer, and I could then go back here and do class text XS. It'd be kind of nice if they were next to each other. Class flex flex 1. Gap small, put a small little gap between them. And then sure, I mean, I guess this is because I've got padding on here and like MT large, P large. Yeah, just the MT large. Oh, I've got the MT large on there too. There we go. And then maybe I'll just, we don't need those. And then because I've got those, I don't really need that much space above there. I just want to be able to see and focus on the editor. And then we've come to the end of that, so we'll find a new song. And then perhaps am I in this somewhere else? Thought it was, but maybe not. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I want to edit it here. I could just say if false or and. That will just disable the header for now. There we go. Now I'm just focusing on the editor that I'm building. None of the other chaos around it. We'll add I don't need quite as much padding now. Just trying to really see what's going on with the editor. So, if we go to the end of O on hello, we can manipulate that appropriately. We'll notice our start and end disappeared. That's another thing we've got to solve. Our start was 0, our end was 1. We delete on the O, L. It's when I type a letter, because obviously that's when it applies that add mark. So it kind of only wants to do that if there isn't a mark already there, you know. Otherwise, we just add the text or return null. That should remove a mark. Maybe I haven't done that correctly yet. Or maybe I have to insert text first. And then remove the mark for that range. Yeah, I've done something weird there. The second I put the F's in, it moved them into it. But the space is still over here. So this range probably isn't working. Console.log. Well, we already console logged the remove mark. When I add a space here, it should remove the mark, but we only have start and end as 6, which is a single point, and I actually need a range. And again, we're trying to recall from some of the previous sessions I did where I went through the documentation, the way that the editor's indexing works is it's like 0 outside the tag opens, 1 inside the tag, and then we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? Yes, it would be, because then it means 6 would be here, right? Like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So that's the 6th position after hello. And I want to insert text. Like +1. So here I press space, and now we have 2 spaces here. There's no spaces in this. If I type F, we have another bug. We should be adding the mark, but we're not. Again, it looks like a similar range issue. Like start and end is 7. So like now we have a problem at the beginning of letters or beginning of words, where we have to make sure that like we are adding 1. Dot insert text, new text. And then the end is like +1. But it might not be. It's kind of like new text length. Probably. So now if I do space, F. Yes. F, F, D, space, H. So then when I did this, or when I do that, red rolled. Okay, obviously there's some weird quirks. Oh, my eyes got blurry. Oh. That was weird. They still are a little bit blurry, but hey. So one of the things that I'm kind of tackling a couple of different things at once. If I'm in here and I type a letter, I don't want those to become null and this confidence set to 1. One of the things that was in here before was the confidence was 1. No, I want the confidence to be set to something else. Let's just set a confidence to like 0.6, 0.8, 0.9, 0.7. And then we'll set this to like 0.3, 3 or something. So then when I'm in here, that is interesting. I press a letter to add to it, they will get wiped out because the mark gets replaced, you know. Not good. We don't want to just wipe out the mark because we decided to add the mark. Let's just make this clearer. I'll do it the comment for now. If it looks like we're deleting text, then don't add a mark. Just let the default behavior do its thing. Next, if the matched text is already marked as a word, then don't add a mark. How do we do that? If the doc range has mark, start end. So if the range we're looking at already has a mark, then don't add a mark. Like we're not in that business. So then we go up here. Yellow. These aren't changing, so that's the bit that I wanted to look at there. But if I'm at the end and I do space, I go into there, that's fine. If I backspace, oh, backspace isn't good. I can delete in there, but if I delete here, that's fine. Okay, but there was some weird situation that did something weird a second ago. I also want to, while I'm here and just thinking about this, I kind of want to this on change plugin. Prose helpers. view. Is there a view props? At the moment I'm calling like update. I want to kind of like knit. I mean, it's literally view dot. It's that. Is window.view.state.top to JSON. And then guess I kind of want this. Except this is now JSON data. So then I just wanted it to always be there rather than having me to type first. It wants it to initialize with the JSON on the side. Cool. Happy with that. Just realised as well I'm blocking most of this text on the right hand side. Mostly I've been focused on the stuff at the top though, so I'll just make sure that when I scroll it's there. I kind of had this free window thing going on. I've got like events coming in down on the left, I've got the actual editor in the middle, and then I've got the data that represents the document on the right hand side. Just so I can see the changes as I'm making them. So this all looks fine. I can change that word as much as I want. I can go in and just press space and F. If I start deleting, see here, it got rid of the mark. It called add mark here. Why did it call add mark? So when I was in here and pressed space, remove mark. We remove the mark from the thing that I've got. I should now have two spaces in there, which it looks like I do. Fine. I then press delete. Okay, and delete again. That second delete decides to add the mark. We're matching hell, but we should cancel out, right? We should, in our rule, looks like we're deleting text. So we go space, we press delete, delete. Looks like we're deleting text. But it doesn't just delete the text, it deletes that mark. So like we get this range that we should now have to deal with, which is annoying because we basically have to go state.tr. So at the moment we return null in this situation. What happens here? Because this is fine. Because we're still in the mark, maybe. Whereas when we're here and we delete, we weren't in the mark anymore. And then when we delete, we're coming out of the mark. We're actually deleting the mark. I think what's happening is it deletes the span. And then the editor's like, oh no, I need to add the span back in. That's kind of what was happening before as well. But then when we add the span back in, it kind of kills the mark. Perhaps I should just call tr.delete. That's going to be the wrong thing. If I delete that, oh, because it needs to be like this dot state.tr or whatever, yeah. State.tr. Delete. That deletes the entire range. So I wonder actually if what I want to do is do like const deleted length. End minus deleted length. But even this, see, it works. The problem I have with all rich text editors is that it works here in this one specific nice little use case. As soon as I go and start doing something else, I will uncover something else that is now broken because of this change. That says hey, this. So this didn't change, which is good. It's effectively what I wanted to do. I guess the default behavior in that situation is it wipes out the text, but really what wants to happen in this like weird little bug is that it should, you know, delete. We do have an ad popping up in about 50 seconds. I do just have ads on automatic pre-roll. Sometimes I could grab a drink, sometimes I take a break. I'm actually not going to take a break this time, but yeah, they do help us avoid having pre-rolls. So. And I hate pre-rolls for that's the weirdest, you know. Okay. This. The next little challenge, little problem is I delete the space, right? Okay, I've deleted the space and I've got these two words that are like smushed together now. But they are different words. So if I start typing, well, this type, for some reason, is not marked. A different problem. because I guess we're in this little package in the middle where now range that we're selecting has got the mark, but it's also not got a mark. We don't really have this problem in the other editor, you know. Like, oh, we do have. That's what I mean to say. We do kind of have this problem already in the other editor where they don't kind of smash together. This is annoying, and it's a side effect of our new little check that says, "Hey, do we have the range? Does that have a mark?" I guess what would be interesting to know is view.state.stored marks. You know, we've got this kind of stored marks thing. I delete the space. I don't have any stored marks. I delete the O. You know, I'm in this space now where I'm adding into this. Do I have stored marks? No. I'm curious, you know, about something. About there's a little diagram. This one here. The token sequence. I'm curious about how the token sequence is affected by marks. It's not, right? It shouldn't, in theory, be affected by marks because the marks are separate. They kind of apply to that range. But you know, they're in there. They're doing something. Because how am I effectively in the same position here and typing F into the first thing, but if I do space and then delete, I'm now unmarked, you know? This is an empty array. That's null. There is a difference between those two. As we discovered in a previous session exploring that space about all of those things, I think I've worked out why I was a bit blinded. I don't think I'm like full brightness at me. Like eye strain, just being blasted by bright light, you know? That'll do. You don't need to be blinded. That feels much better already. I can actually see. These two are interesting. If we're typing and the range has a mark, that's one thing, right? But it's like and state.stored marks is equal to null. If stored marks is equal to null and our range already has marks, we do not need to do any work. Otherwise, we probably need to do some work. Okay, so now when I delete the space, we're folded into the word before it. Still not quite solved all of the problem. And even though we've folded into the mark before it, kinda I think actually we can guess we want to stored marks. Set stored marks. So we could do like a transaction tr.set if state dot stored marks not equal to null, turn state dot tr dot set stored marks to null, and then insert text new text. So then we go in here, and then all we did was just that rather than adding the mark. We're not actually adding the mark, we're just mark words, unmarked words. Okay, that makes sense, I think. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? One of the things I'm kind of curious about, and we're kind of going off on a tangent, this ProseMirror div really wants to be like the full height. This probably needs like not dominant baseline. What is that? Or display grid to make sure that wherever you click, you get put into it. Yeah, I like that. Just ensures that the entire Not there. Not there, you silly sausage. There we go. That just ensures that wherever I click in the editor, that's done. Also, the P large should also be in here. You know. Make sure that you're clicking into that space. Or maybe not. You know. Why does that not get a padding large? Padding 100 pixels. Oh, because it's not this, it's this. It's the ProseMirror. Padding var space large. And then I can remove it from there. There we go. And then you can click anywhere your heart desires. Cool. Let's go down here. Dot map node dot content. This is a test. Oh, and then this would also have to be the same. So I'm probably just going to create a quick helper function to do that for us. Or even just, yeah, render data. And that's going to take data. And then it's going to take that data. This dot render data JSON data, delete the end of the line, v inside there, paste, and then this dot change. This dot render data dot bind this. Now when I refresh this as a test, that all of those words also being added in properly. Cool. I can also do that. I wanted to see type segment, content, data as well. Which actually I think does make more sense. It's more accurate. Okay. Now, what else do I want to do? Well, I still haven't really... All I've done is just refactored a few things, solved a few bugs. when I delete, what I really wanted to do here was to merge these two together, you know. Which means that I kind of need to do something on backspace, you know, word marking key map. So we're back over here. This is looking a lot more complex than it was before, but it's also feeling a little bit more robust. This is what we had before. It was about 10 lines of code, and now we have this. Yes. Anyway, you know, we'll ignore that. 18J, delete. Okay. So, what can we tell about transaction? We get our transaction. We have access to the doc through the transaction. What do we want to do? Check whether we should join word marks when backspacing. I'm kind of gonna let, you know, open ChatGPT, whatever. It's not ChatGPT, it's Copilot. I'm gonna let Copilot kind of do a little bit of the thinking here for me, and then we're gonna review what it's come up with and maybe refactor it. And I'm probably just going to accept a couple of these until it kind of seems like it clicks. So what have we got here? It thinks it's done. Well, I guess if we do this point, then we need to return true. But it's not just a case of, oh no, we do. We modify the transcription, not transcription, the transaction that's being given to us. And then return true. So if the cursor and the parent offset, I don't know what that is. Before. Well, we don't really have a concept of before. Like, where's that? Oh, before's here. Before that marks length. I don't trust this. This doesn't look like the right solution. I think I can do Copilot. Panel. It's got 10 solutions. Check whether we should join word marks and backspacing. It takes the cursor. I don't see. I mean, there's something about the word marks. Before cursor, not just any mark, it's a specific mark. No. I'm kind of taking the approach where if I see it, I'll know I want it, you know? At the moment, I'm not seeing it. That's all I'm saying. Marks at marks end. Perhaps I should be more specific in this comment. When backspacing and there are two word marks meet are next to other, we should try to join them into a single word mark, using over a space between two words. Word marks we need to merge them together when joining them. The start of the first will keep its start, and the second mark will keep its end. They will become one mark. You know, that's a pretty detailed spec there. Let's do the step at a time approach, and then maybe if that doesn't work, we could maybe review Copilot panel. In fact, let's just do the Copilot panel now, because I think that was interesting. Copilot panel. It will synthesize some solutions for us. Can we? We can move that bar now. So. We get the node before and the node after. They're not nodes. But, no, they are nodes. They are text nodes. So we get the node before and the node after first. If there's no node before and there's no node after, then you can't do anything. If they both have the type of word, then we have a mark before and a mark after. Grab the start, the end, confidence. We remove the stored marks. Not sure why I don't need to do that part, I'm pretty sure. Then we add the stored mark. I'm not sure like what it's doing here. We need to remove the marks and then apply them to the same mark, which actually we can just do in one operation by just doing add mark to both of them, and it will do the job. I think, you know, there's a couple of different options. We'll go with this first one. I just want to see that coming okay. Not really, you know. Do that, and then everything else is kind of okay. I don't know what round marks randomly being left alone there is. Okay. Now I think this is the bit that I want to change. I want to do some of my own stuff. I basically just want to do tr or new mark is equal to the word mark being created, right? I'll just store that in a const, and then we will just do tr.add mark. How do we add the mark? What do we do before? Add mark, start and end. To both the previous node and the next. That's not what I want. Like, Stop using the cursor. We're not going to do anything right now. We're just going to see if this applies and actually what gets called. So we'll just console log merging words. And then perhaps we'll also grab the node before or the mark. That's actually just going to get us the mark. I want the node before and the node after. We'll do that. So we're in here, we delete. Where did we fail? Console.log, no cursor. Console.log, no node before after. Node before, node after. Delete. No marks before or after. That's funny. So we have text. That was the space. And then there is the next node there. How do we get the node before the node before? I want the node before the node before. Store a global object. M1.node 4. No. That gives me the space. I don't want the space. And that's why this doesn't work, because this one will have the mark that we're looking for there. With its attributes, the confidence and the end and all of that sort of stuff. That's on the type, but the at is there. 0.9, 14 and 6. These ones. One's there. It's very close. I wonder, can I do Copilot? Help? Help. It doesn't have 10 completions. Don't have Copilot chat. You know, Copilot chat, like, is that something that's coming at some point? Since product and pro, great early for us to commit to future developments, site public private preview. Reinstalling VS Code would break my heart and my colleague would laugh at me. Out of the equation. Oh, okay. Okay, man. Okay. It doesn't look like it there. Has someone built one? A new command, Copilot Chat in Place, has been introduced. It functions like a ChatGPT plugin. Please run update remote plugins command and restart new event before starting a chat. Copilot. It would be nice, you know. I do actually have ChatGPT run explain code act as. What do these do? I mean, I just haven't really spent any time with the ChatGPT plugin in NeoVim. Where are we? Are we in space 3? Yeah. Right. BW. And then yeah. I wonder if I can do ChatGPT run. These are all the ones that are there, yeah. Explain code. That's not really what I want, but I'm also just curious. That's quite nice. Go checking the holes before and after. Distance values. Chat GPT run fix bugs. Maybe I do the entire range and then do chat GPT run fix bugs. I pass it the entire block of code. I haven't done this before, it's going to be interesting. And then I can say a prompt. I can say this currently gives me else because the delete hasn't yet been applied. I want to find the cursor before the node that will be deleted. Action will need merging. Currently, node before is the node that is about to be deleted. Don't really know. Okay, how do I control B, not control B? Chat GPT. I can't remember how to submit. Is it like control Y or something? Opens up the interactive window, act as, opens up a prompt, act as a thing, edit with instructions, run, explain code, fix bugs, control Y, control enter, control enter. I don't know. So is this the thing that's on the left and then this is the change on the right? Because is this different now? It is different. Where does it go different? 19 gets me the cursor pause.
Thought I told you I can't find the words, nothing makes sense. Thought I told you
I just need to. Oh, it's not going to adjust that window. Oh, okay, fine. Big window, big window. Anyway, is this doing what I want it to do? Like, I still see it doing node before, node after, but this time it adds in the code node, the cursor position. Mark before, tr dot resolve, cursor pause minus node before node size. I see, okay, it does seem to do more of what I want it to do. How do I accept this? Like, control Y to copy yank the last answer. Okay. Code from control K. Use response as input. Control K then, I suppose. Right, we'll go control K. Except control K is my window hotkey, so that's not going to work. Control Y. Well, that didn't work. Fine. I saw what it was doing though. It was doing like a weird. It did like tr.doc.resolve cursor position minus the node before .node size. Node equals, I think that's a node. Console.log node. I think that's a node. Resolved position. Right, that's okay. It's not a node. I get a path. Path offset 5. Offset 6. Let's take a quick glance, because we're doing something very similar to the ProseMirror. ProseMirror commands. There's a command in here that we're doing something very similar to. We're doing join backward or whatever we're doing. We're doing some kind of join. At block start. If the selection is empty and at the start of a text block, try to reduce the distance between that block and the one before it if there's a block between join. Find cut before. This takes a resolved position, returns a resolved position. Join backward. So this is the cursor is a position, right? How did we... Oh, like we can just do like node before, because it's a position. Text node hello. I wonder if actually we should be applying the command, but rather than us, like maybe we just allow it to do its thing, and then we can look at what the state looks like at that point and decide whether we do stuff more on top of it. So like we become a wrapper around the existing functionality. The existing functionality always happens first. So that would look something like well, we'd have this, right? Delete that, and then we'd put that up here, and then we would delete 2D, and then we would call backspace with those elements. Because I think what happens is we don't return transaction, we return true or false. Results equals if no return false. It didn't do anything. We still want the default behavior to happen though. We really want to do something after the behavior's happened. I need to just quickly check something again. Also, there's a bunch of documentation about self-positions there that's useful to know. Documentation, library guide. There is something in here that I want to get back to. What was it called? There was something about... What was there? There was something about how... like the command sequence. Delete selection, which kicks in when the selection is empty. Join back when the cursor is at the start of a text block, and select node backward, which selects node before the selection. In the case of schema forbids the regular joining. When none of these apply, the browser is allowed to run its own backspace behavior, which is the appropriate thing for backspacing things inside a text block, so that native spell check and such don't get confused. I think join backward is probably the one that is the most interesting, because it does actually have to do the delete. It's also dispatching, actually. Oh, dispatch is the... if it's given, it will dispatch the transaction. Oh, of course. This isn't schema, this is dispatch. Why do I have that as schema? That is not. Well, I've not been using it because I've not been dispatching. What do I get? I get the transaction, the dispatch, and the view. So down here, I actually need to go view.state.schema. By the mark. I prefer the concept of an early return, so let's just do if no mark before or no mark after, return false.
Listen to me speak, but just do what you want. What words will you keep? The ones that cause us
7k, delete that. And then we'll put those there. Start in confidence. That looks a little bit cleaner, but it's still really happening in the wrong place, you know. I don't know if that's a good idea. But it's the only way I can think of. Wanted a little arrow pointing down. Don't know. Okay. So we backspace, right? And then curious chat GPT. Since it wasn't working for us earlier, we'll do it in here. Hello, how can I assist you today? I'm building a rich text editor with TipTap. Not TipTap, ProseMirror. I want to do some things when after the user has deleted any text. Tidy up what we've done, ensure it matches my rules. For marks that I control enter. It was control it was control enter. Okay. Different here for some reason. That sounds like an interesting project. So there's something about line height that I'm just not comfortable with in here, and also the width. Attach an event listener to your editor's delete event. It's fired whenever the user deletes some content. Then the event listener obtain the current state of the editor using view.state. Create a transaction using state.tr. I'm not sure that's I don't know what I like. Sure, I guess that would make sense. I could add an event listener. Events. What's handle DOM events? Okay. Could maybe do that. Whereas at the moment what we're doing is we are handling the key down. It might be more interesting to handle the delete. Is that a thing? Event delete. In content editable? Like, is that? What happens when you delete text by backspace in a content editable element? Really? Explain the question I have. Events. DOM change. Handle text input is kind of there, but then delete selection to DOM. You know, we can also write a plugin that does stuff on the state change. Plugin system. State. An extra slot can keep its own data. Append transaction allows the plugin to append another transaction to be applied after a given array of transactions. When another plugin appends a transaction after this was called, it's called again in the new state. Only new transactions, it won't pass transactions it already saw. Append transaction is interesting. Like, it's a completely different approach, but one that sounds perhaps interesting to explore. So, import plugin from ProseMirror state. Const. I don't want state, I want this append transaction. Do I also need to pass it a name or something? No. Word marking plugin. So if we go back over here, word marking plugin. Okay. This has the transaction. So could I just, at this point, do some stuff to merge the marks? Because we basically want to say, okay, well, the new state looks like this. Before we go ahead and commit it to the editor, I'm going to make my little changes. How do we get the cursor selection? So like, I'm kind of wondering whether now some of this makes sense, because now we are dealing with the state ahead of time kind of thing, right? Like rather than having a space before and after, we've applied the deletion, however we're applying the deletion, and now we can go in and kind of apply our rules, right? So I'm kind of wondering, I don't think this makes sense now, but like some of this does make sense now. What do we return? Do we return the transaction? Like what's the, we return? Do we always return transaction? Allows the plugin to append another transaction to the be applied after the given array of transactions. When another transaction appends a transaction after this was called, it is called again. I think I'd need to see an example of a append transaction being used. It's going to be part of the state library. Append transaction. I want to see it being used. Return state.tr. Returns a new transaction. TR equals that n less than TR's dot length. I don't. Do I just return the TRs? It doesn't look like it. Like this one example here. Transaction plugin. This takes in the TRs and an underscore, which I can't remember what that property's for. The old state. Takes in the transactions and the old state and the new state, and then last, if last, and last dot get meta append. That's A. Let's, but it doesn't return anything unless that's true. Fine, so we would return nothing, right? I guess false is also fine. Let's just see. Oh, TR is not defined. Well, can I do? I mean, actually, is view.state.cursor thing? Oh, view.state.selection.$cursor. That is a thing. So this actually becomes new state.selection. And that is the node after and before that cursor. That is finding the marks in those. Okay. Hello, beautiful. So basically we take the new state selection, find out if there's a cursor. If there's no cursor, we return false. If there's a cursor, we get the nodes before and after. Return false. Then we check the marks for words before and after. Otherwise, we return false. We've got a bunch of early returns basically. And then eventually we're like, okay, well, we are doing something here. Return. And then what did they do in their code? They did like state.tr. We just don't care about the old state. Also, I've noticed something. I don't seem to have well, it's kind of given up. LSP info. It's attached. TS server is attached. It's just not really caring. Doesn't have a care in the world. Okay. This looks much cleaner. I'm actually much more excited about this approach. I wonder if my input rules should take the same approach. Like, this makes much more sense as like how we apply our rules. We're just appending transactions for given situations. Like, we're able to just like, oh, a transaction has happened. I'm now going to check whether I need to do something to ensure that the schema that we are aiming for is the one that we get. And if it is, then we append some transactions to ensure that. Or we could maybe filter transactions out that kind of contradict some of those options. This reads much easier. You can just go through and go, okay, cool, we're appending transactions. Yep, fine. Okay, well, if there's no cursor, we can't do anything. If there's no nodes, we can't do anything. If there's no marks that match this spec, then we can't do anything. And then we grab these data, we merge. So now Old state is not defined. Where are we doing old state? Oh, here. Yeah. And then we delete and just say, hey, merge these. Can they both be underscore? Yeah, I don't think they could. What would you have me do here? Like, I don't care for either of those. B and A. Can I just have whatever I want here? Hold. Fine. Okay, so now we're here. Now we are able to merge the words. We have the correct information about the words we're merging. We have 0.243 and 40. Confidence of 8. Right, we're going to merge those two words. How do we do that, you know? Well, this just returns state.tr, so we're going to return state.tr dot add mark start and end. Well, where do we get start and end from? Not that start and end. That's not the right start and end. New atters start mark all atters start mark after. Okay, maybe that will make more sense. Return this not this state.er dot add mark. So I have node before and node after. I basically want to capture those nodes. I have a node. What are we on? Are we on the guide or the reference manual? I have a node. I get node size. What do I want to do? I want to add the mark, right? So let's do add mark. And it takes a from and a to. So how do I get the range? Range. The selection range. A resolved position. The absolute position at the start of the node at the level. I'll start. So like given class node, How do I... I want the node. No, you just want to create a copy of this node with the given. Not sure that's what I want. Replace node at resolve. Range has mark. ChatGPT is not having a good day. We're just going to use it on here. ChatGPT. ChatGPT. That's not what I wanted to do. Given, I kind of want to reset this, but I can't remember what the command is again. Control C to close. Start a new session. Control N. Control N. There we go. And then we say I'm using ProseMirror. I have a node. I want to find the start of that node as a position. Honestly, okay. So I think you have to escape and then press enter. Pause at start. Do I have access to it? Yeah. Store as a global object. Temp1. On pause at start. Temp1. Temp1 position. Escape and then press enter. .pos. Okay, can I call .pos on it? Doesn't look like it. This doesn't work. There is .start maybe. .start might make sense. No. Date.doc.resolve. What's the deal with resolve? It's not. So we have a node which we got here from our cursor. And that node is here, temp 1. Given that node, we want to find its position. What happens if I just call .resolve on it? Position to find out a range. Yeah, because it's not what I need. I have to give it a position for that. The node, I mean, it's actually not just a node, right? It is a text class text node. Node types are allocated and used to tag node instances. That's the type, right? Class node. Let's maybe find. This will be in the model, right? Text node. Text node. We can resolve it, right? Because we kind of know our cursor. So, using our cursor, we know we have position 6, right? We are at position 6. So we can use our cursor. Do they have anything about cursor? Turns a resolved position. Oh, there's also like node range, right? From and to a resolved position. Okay, well I haven't got a resolved position. The resolved position that we get from our cursor gives us node before and node after. Node before. Node before, node after, those are there. Kind of curious, it returns a range based on the place where this position and the given position diverge around the block content. Not quite what I want. I kind of need to start from where I am and go out. That might just need to arch, right? Like perhaps I just need a new resolved position. Resolved positions. Positions can be represented as integer offsets, but you'll often want to use a more convenient representation. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't care, you know. Maybe I don't care about your more convenient thing. I guess in theory, right, I could do const from is cursor dot start minus, or like node before dot size times -1. I don't really know what the start bit was there. The absolute position at the start of the node at the given level gets you a number. I don't really want a number, I wanted to get a resolve position. So pos just minus the node size. Const 2 is like node after. Right, and then just do that. Is that all we need to do? So we're looking over here. We've got hello and we've got beautiful, and those two didn't merge, didn't do anything. We got merging words here. Guess we could console log, well, from and to. Well, it's not going to work like that, is it? The cursor class node size, that's fine. That worked. So on the right hand side here we have the two words, and they are kind of, you know, whatevers. 0.243 and 1 and 6 and 14. I delete this, they become 0.243, 14. And when I space, they now share the same thing, but that's kind of fine, you know. Oh well. It all spans at the moment. Oh, I didn't want to actually include that. Actually, that is pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, and also I should check, like if I'm in, if I refresh and I'm in this word, beautiful, fine, I merge them back, they become one word again, they're not suddenly separate forever. But also if I go in here and this is a test. This is test. I've noticed these all have null as the start. At some point they became null, right? Um, Jason, Stringify, Args. I kind of want to. I can't remember what the replacer function space. Jason. Okay. GPT is just not working. Is it dead over here as well? On my other browser? Yeah, they're all just dead. Yeah, there's some. GPT is down. Yeah, there's a few tweets of people. Is ChatGPT down? No, I think we're making some good progress here. I'm kind of happy with how this has turned out. It's much better than what I had up here, but I can just delete this. I may even move this into something like this. I guess if there isn't one mark after. Of course. Oh, of course. Word mark and key map. Wait. I really kind of want to collapse marks into a single line. I want to make this more readable because I can't, it's taking me a little while to parse it at the moment. JSON format, JSON stringify, collapse up to 2 levels. With white space. I don't think there's gonna be something for that. I could just filter out the marks maybe and turn them into a string. Is that not what like JSON stringify replacer example, like how does that bit work? So actually, yeah, that's key. It's just key and value, yeah. If return value, if key equals marks, return JSON.stringify value. How does that come out? Yeah, that's collapsed a lot. I could just return a string, like value, like let's just do marks 0, return backticks. And then I guess I could do like confidence or something, just so then I can kind of see how they get merged, because if they're obviously like that, and then obviously like that, and this is a test. Hello. Hello. This is broken. Hey. E. L. Oh. That's interesting. Again, this is the input rules plugin. I do not like the input rules plugin. Every time I use it, it just causes problems. I actually think the next step is to abolish those stupid rules in favour of this.
I just wanna sleep forever. I wish you'd come. Stuck inside a dream forever.
The thing is, it's always a replace step, so it's kind of quite difficult to know what it is you're actually doing. Like, what did you just do? Because even like, not that, but like A, or actually I need it on the first one, H, it says, hey, it looks like we're deleting text. Yeah, so why didn't all the text get deleted? Like, why? I should still have, just so I can see while I'm doing this, console log applied mark. So then I can just do H, no applied mark. So we know we're not. It must be something here. But this obviously doesn't match up to what we expect when we do Command A and change a letter. So this is wrong. Why not just be like, I don't want to delete? This doesn't have a mark now. It's become unmarked. And that is the problem. I think there's certain situations like that when you go in here, space, delete, delete, it deletes the whole mark when it should just delete the letter. Which is why we had that. But this breaks that. I mean, this whole block. Is there like a... Tracking changes based on level of transactions, not input them. See, for example, change tracking example, which keeps a data structure in the plugin state and updates it as appropriate when transactions happen.
The way that you make me feel like I've never been felt before. When look in your eyes, I found the one I've been waiting for. I'm feeling electric.
I've got like a full GitHub style change tracking thing. I mean, yeah. Not really. I think we're going to call it there. You know, I think we've made some good progress. I'm actually quite enjoying having this like editor that I've built right here to kind of see both side by side. I think we can very quickly get the other parts into play. I think the core of it really is making sure that this data structure is solid with the text and the words, because before it wasn't. It has bugs and they keep cropping up. And so I really want to make sure that this is really slick and works really well. So we're going to keep working on this, I think. We're going to have to get into changing our kind of input rule approach, I think, more for this kind of append transaction approach. Maybe not filter transaction. I mean, filter transaction could be interesting as well. I don't know. It's a tricky one. There is something there. You know. Where's my search gone? Handle text input delete. Text node. Yeah, I need to spend some time maybe digging into some of these as well. I might drop a message in here. How active is this? Activity? 7 hours ago, 10 hours ago. Fine. So I might jump in there, sign up and have some discussion. I'll be back streaming tomorrow, Thursday. And we're going to keep working on this and pushing on with it. Been a bit slow progress lately, just because this is a big part of the project, and it is one of the blockers really of getting this working and live. So yeah, I think this is actually the core value of the whole project. Out of everything, the stuff that actually has the most value is probably this whole editor that I'm building. And so I want to make sure it's fast, I want to make sure it's slick, I want to make sure that the experience there is good. And yeah, I think we're making some good progress on that. I'll be around tomorrow, as I said. See you later. Bye.